I came home on April 4th around 10:30 at night. I don't get along with her at all.
Okay, I know that.
She in my house. I'm tired. I work a long day. All I do is go to work all day, every day. She's in my house. I do not like her. They partying, they kicking it. I come home. I'm tired. I'm wore out. They having a party. I tell my sister, like, you know I don't like her. Why is she in my house, right? Because this is my friend, we having to get together. That ain't had nothing to do with it. This is my house. I pay the bills. I don't want her in here. Get her out. So she jumps up in my face, Deja. Get to yelling and screaming, talking about, I'm here with Kathy, It's her house, too. First of all, I pay all the bills. This is my house. If I don't want her in here, she's not going to be in here, right? So she get all up in my face and stuff. Her girlfriend, Nakora, jumps up and tell her, if this is my cousin's house, she don't want you in here, you need to respect her and get out. So now Nakora, which I call her Coco, get to arguing and fighting, and she swing on Coco. They get to tussling. She slammed Nakora to my couch, and it snapped instantly. All I heard was a big old pop. Then, they tussling. I'm trying to get them up out the door and everything. I get them out the door and slam the door and lock it. She get to hollering, my phone in there, this, that, and the third. So I tell her, like, your phone, you ain't coming to my house, go away from here before I call the police. I'm not really no type of person to call the police or none of that. So I'm trying to settle the stuff before I go to legal. Call the police, and this, excuse me, she kicked my door. I have evidence to prove it.
Before or after the phone?
Before the phone. That's when I threw the phone out the door at her. I threw it hard as ever.
Let me try to say this as sympathetically as my unsympathetic self can say it. We don't care. When I say we don't care, courts don't care. Courts don't care about this kind of nonsense. Courts don't care about this kind of childish nonsense. You come home, clearly, based upon what you said, you tried to testify in between your yammering, was that you share an apartment with somebody who says, I live here and I pay the bills. You say, I live there and I pay the bills. But the person who was in the apartment, who lives there, had invited these two people, were invitees of someone who lives in that apartment. Just listening ears. Listening ears.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's why they were there. They didn't break into the apartment. They didn't knock down the front door. They didn't go in through a window. They were an invited guest of somebody who lives with you in that apartment. So
only because she babysits my kids.
I don't care whether she lives there because she's the cook or because she babysits your children or for any other reason. She lives there. And if she lives there, she has the right to invite guests unless it is prohibited in some sort of lease arrangement, which you don't have. So they were there as invited guests of a person who had the authority to invite them. And you came in and kicked them out.
Nicely,
hey,
nicely,
listen. No, not nicely, because you couldn't even testify to me nicely. I came in there and I was working, and I'd work until 11 o'clock at night, and they were there, and I told... That's the way you presented yourself, in a highly agitated way. Now, this is after a month or more. So I can only imagine your highly agitated state when you walked in after a long day because you couldn't control yourself here. So I'm not giving anybody license to become engaged in a physical altercation. I think that you go into your room, you close the door, and you go to bed. And the next day you have a discussion with your babysitter, roommate, and say, I don't like her. I don't want her in my house. We've had history. I don't want her in my house. Let's make sure it doesn't happen again. That's what a grown-up with children does. A grown-up with children doesn't create a scene in their house when their children are home. That's what a grown-up does. That would be you.
Right.
And you didn't.
I tried to.
No, you didn't. And I just told you you didn't because you couldn't even control yourself in front of me.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, but
you couldn't control yourself in front of me.
You don't know what type of person she is.
We're done.
Clearly.
Your case is dismissed. Finito. Oh, counterclaim 2. Give it back a broken phone. We're done.
Please excuse me, step
She did come home. She was upset that I was in her house, but...
I mean, yes, I was heated in an argument. I'm into it with somebody. I pay all the bills.
I did kick her door in, break her couch, all that, so...
I'm earning all the money. They in there partying, and that's what made her just probably...
Because we consumed about 2 bottles of Hennessy.
Caused her to jump up and try to slam her on my couch and everything.
It was on. Anything was possible.